Have you ever stood in your kitchen, opened the cupboard, and stared at that little orange box of baking soda, wondering if it could do more than just freshen your fridge or help cookies rise? I know it sounds strange, but inside that box is something many people completely overlook, especially those of us over 60. And yet, it could quietly be one of the most powerful health tools sitting in your home right now. See, growing older brings wisdom, experience, and hopefully, a little more time to take care of ourselves. But it also brings its own set of challenges, from aching joints to poor digestion, from weaker immunity to nagging fatigue. And while many of us are searching for answers in pills, powders, or expensive treatments, we might be missing a natural solution hiding in plain sight. That's why today, I want to have a real conversation with you. Not as a doctor, not as a lecturer, but as someone who deeply believes that simple things, done the right way, can make a huge difference. So in this video, we're going to talk about 13 surprisingly powerful ways that baking soda may help you feel better, move easier, and live with more comfort, clarity, and confidence. Now, I'm not saying this is some magical cure, but when used properly and safely, baking soda has been studied by scientists, trusted by grandmothers, and quietly recommended by health professionals for decades. And you deserve to know exactly how to use it and when not to. Stick with me to the end, because I'll also share who should be cautious and how to use baking soda wisely without risking side effects. And hey, while you're here, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing our Health 365 family tuning in from all over the world. All right, let's get into it. And start with something your body does every single day, but could probably do a whole lot better: detox. Let's talk about something we rarely think about: the way our body clears out the junk. Every single day, our system works hard to flush out waste, toxins, and excess acid. But after 60, that process can slow down, leaving us feeling sluggish, bloated, or just not quite ourselves. This is where baking soda can gently step in and lend a hand. When you mix a small amount of baking soda into water, it turns into an alkaline solution. That simply means it can help balance the acidity in your body, something that naturally builds up from stress, diet, even medications. By making your internal environment slightly more alkaline, you're giving your organs, especially your kidneys, a little relief. In fact, a clinical study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that people with chronic kidney issues who took a daily dose of baking soda actually slowed the progression of their disease. Why? Because it helped reduce the acid load their kidneys had to deal with. But that's not all. Soaking in a warm bath with baking soda isn't just soothing, it can also support detox through your skin. Many people report feeling calmer, less itchy, and even sleeping better after a 20-minute soak. It's like giving your body a gentle reset. No harsh cleanses, no expensive supplements. Of course, this isn't about overdoing it. Like any natural remedy, balance is everything. Too much baking soda can irritate the stomach or throw off your body's natural chemistry. But when used carefully, under the right guidance, it's a surprisingly simple way to support one of your body's most important daily jobs. Now that your body is starting to feel lighter from the inside, let's move to something that hits a little closer to your smile. Let's face it, as we age, our teeth start telling their own story. Years of coffee, tea, medications, and maybe the occasional sweet treat can leave their mark. But what if I told you that one of the most effective, affordable ways to brighten your smile might already be sitting in your kitchen? Baking soda has been used for generations as a natural tooth cleanser, and there's solid science behind it. It works as a mild abrasive, not too harsh, but just enough to gently lift surface stains without damaging the enamel. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Dentistry showed that toothpaste containing baking soda removed significantly more plaque and stains than those without it. But it's not just about whiter teeth. Baking soda also helps balance the pH in your mouth. That means it neutralizes the acids left behind by food and bacteria, which are the real culprits behind cavities, bad breath, and gum irritation. By creating a less acidic environment, baking soda helps reduce harmful bacteria and supports healthier gums overall. Now, this doesn't mean you should ditch your regular toothpaste completely. But using a small amount of baking soda on a soft toothbrush a few times a week can be a gentle, effective way to maintain oral health, especially if you're dealing with sensitive teeth or want to cut back on harsh chemicals. And if you wear dentures, a baking soda soak can help clean them without causing damage, while also eliminating odors naturally. When your mouth feels clean and fresh, it's like the rest of your day gets a little lighter. And speaking of lightness, let's talk about something that tends to weigh many people down: that burning sensation in the chest that seems to come out of nowhere. You know that feeling, a slow burn rising up your chest after a meal. Sometimes it hits after just a sip of coffee, or even bending down to tie your shoes. Heartburn isn't just uncomfortable. Over time, it can take a toll on your sleep, your appetite, even your mood. And while antacids are everywhere these days, they're not always gentle or affordable. That's where baking soda quietly steps in. See, it's not just for your fridge or your teeth. It's actually a fast-acting, doctor-approved way to ease that burning sensation naturally. When you mix half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water and drink it slowly, it starts working right away. The alkaline nature of baking soda neutralizes the stomach acid that's pushing back into your esophagus, the real cause of that discomfort. In fact, the National Institutes of Health officially recognizes baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, as a legitimate antacid. It's been used safely for generations to calm occasional reflux and indigestion, especially when you don't want to rely too heavily on over-the-counter pills. But here's the key: it's meant for occasional use, not daily dependence. If you find yourself needing it all the time, it's a signal to check in with your doctor. And if you're on a low-sodium diet or managing blood pressure, you'll want to be especially careful, since baking soda contains sodium. Still, for those occasional flares after a rich dinner or when lying down too soon after eating, this simple mix can bring noticeable relief in minutes. No prescription, no long wait. And once that burning settles, many people start noticing something else: a lingering itch or skin issue that just won't go away. That's where our next use for baking soda might surprise you. There's nothing quite as irritating as an itch that just won't quit, especially when it's down between the toes or hiding in those warm, damp places our bodies don't always talk about. If you've ever dealt with athlete's foot, ringworm, or that annoying itchy patch that keeps coming back, you know how persistent fungi can be. And while drugstore creams promise fast relief, they often come with chemicals your skin doesn't always love. Now here's the good news. Baking soda has been quietly showing its strength as a natural antifungal for years. Scientists have studied its effects, and one study published in Mycopathologia found that sodium bicarbonate was able to inhibit the growth of over 80% of the fungal strains they tested, including some of the most common ones responsible for foot and skin infections. How does it work? Baking soda creates an alkaline environment, and fungi hate that. They thrive in warm, acidic, moist places. But when you apply a baking soda paste to the affected area, or soak your feet in a warm water and baking soda bath, you make it much harder for those fungal invaders to stick around. It's a gentle option, too. No burning, no artificial fragrances, no harsh residue. Just a soothing, natural remedy you can try right at home. especially helpful for seniors with sensitive skin or those trying to avoid multiple medications. And sometimes, when your skin starts to calm down, you notice something else has been bothering you. Those painful little sores in your mouth that make it hard to eat or even talk. Let's take a look at what baking soda can do for those too. You know the kind, those tiny little sores that show up inside your mouth, on your cheek, under your tongue, and somehow manage to cause a whole lot of pain for something so small. Canker sores may not be dangerous, but they can turn something as simple as eating, brushing, or even smiling into a real challenge, especially as we get older and our body takes longer to heal. But here's something most people don't know. Baking soda can actually help soothe those sores and speed up their recovery. The reason is simple. It helps neutralize the acids in your mouth, creating an environment where the sore isn't constantly aggravated. That means less burning, less stinging, and a gentler path to healing. There's even research backing this up. A study published in the Journal of the American Dental Association found that rinsing with a mild baking soda solution not only helped reduce pain, but also lowered the bacterial count in the area, which may help prevent infection and promote faster healing. All you have to do is mix about half a teaspoon of baking soda in a cup of warm water, swish it gently for 15 to 30 seconds, and spit it out. Do that a few times a day, and you may notice the soreness fading faster than usual. It's an easy, natural option. No burning alcohol, no strange aftertastes, just simple support from something already in your kitchen. And for many people over 60, avoiding unnecessary medications and sticking with gentle home remedies is a big win. Now, while we're in the mouth area, let's shift to something that's not painful but equally uncomfortable, that burning feeling when you go to the bathroom. Let's talk about how baking soda might help with urinary tract discomfort. There's a certain discomfort that's hard to talk about, but even harder to ignore, that burning feeling when you urinate, the constant urge even when your bladder's empty, the pressure in your lower belly. UTIs can make you feel miserable, and unfortunately, they tend to show up more often as we age. Now, baking soda isn't a cure, and it's definitely not a replacement for antibiotics when you really need them. But many seniors have found that it can offer a bit of gentle relief, especially in the early stages or when symptoms are mild. That's because baking soda helps reduce the acidity of your urine. When your urine is less acidic, it can be less painful to pass, easing that burning sensation that so many people dread. A Japanese study even explored this idea. Researchers found that women who drank a mild baking soda solution experienced noticeable relief from UTI symptoms compared to those who didn't. The science behind it makes sense. Baking soda helps neutralize pH levels, making your internal environment less irritating during an infection. To try it, people often dissolve about half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water, once or twice a day, but only for a short time, and never without keeping an eye on how your body responds. If symptoms persist or worsen, medical care is essential. UTIs can move quickly, and they're not something to brush off. Still, for many older adults, this simple trick has helped take the edge off the pain while waiting to see a doctor, and sometimes even prevented things from getting worse. It's another example of how a basic ingredient, used with care, can bring meaningful comfort. And while we're on the subject of small things that cause big discomfort, let's talk about something athletes complain about, but older adults often feel too: muscle soreness. Because baking soda might just help you move better too. You don't have to be a marathon runner to feel the burn after a walk, a round of gardening, or even a few flights of stairs. As we get older, movement sometimes feels heavier, not because we're doing more, but because our muscles get tired faster. That stiff, sore feeling? A big part of it is due to something called lactic acid, which builds up in your muscles during activity. And guess what? Baking soda has quietly become a secret weapon for athletes, and it turns out it may help seniors too. When taken in small, safe doses, baking soda helps reduce the acid that accumulates in muscles during physical effort. That means you may be able to move longer, with less soreness after. A meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism confirmed that sodium bicarbonate can improve short-term, high-intensity performance by delaying fatigue. It's been used by sprinters, cyclists, and swimmers for decades. But the idea isn't just for young athletes. If you're trying to stay active after 60, baking soda could offer just enough of a nudge to keep going a little further, with less recovery time. Most people take it about an hour before physical activity, usually around 1 teaspoon dissolved in water, but always start small. Some folks experience gas, bloating, or even mild nausea if they take too much too fast. The key is to listen to your body, and if you're on any medications or managing heart or kidney issues, check with your doctor first. It's not about pushing yourself harder. It's about helping your body do what it was made to do, move freely, with strength and confidence. And speaking of helping the body run smoother, the next benefit hits home for many older adults, especially those watching their kidney function. Kidneys don't get much attention until they start acting up. And by the time we reach our 60s or 70s, these little bean-shaped organs have already filtered millions of gallons of blood. That's a lifetime of work. But when they start to slow down, you might feel more tired. Your blood pressure might creep up, or your body may begin to hold on to toxins without you realizing it. Here's where baking soda quietly steps into the picture again. One of the lesser-known benefits of this household staple is its ability to support kidney health, especially in people dealing with something called metabolic acidosis, a condition where the body produces too much acid, and the kidneys can't keep up. A study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found something remarkable. Patients with chronic kidney disease who took a daily dose of sodium bicarbonate slowed the progression of their illness significantly. It reduced the acid load in their blood, easing the burden on their kidneys and helping them function more efficiently. Now, of course, this isn't something to start without talking to your doctor, especially if you have high blood pressure or are watching your sodium intake. Baking soda contains sodium, and too much can work against you if not used carefully. But under proper guidance, this simple substance may give your kidneys a little extra support, like a quiet helper working behind the scenes. It's about protecting the things that matter most. And when your kidneys are working better, everything else flows more smoothly, from your energy to your immune system. And speaking of the immune system, there's another area where baking soda shows surprising power, helping with the aches and inflammation that often come with aging joints. If you've ever woken up with stiff fingers, aching knees, or joints that feel like they're rusted shut, you're not alone. Arthritis affects millions of older adults, and while medications can help, they often come with side effects. So it's no wonder so many seniors are searching for gentler, more natural ways to manage that daily discomfort. This is where baking soda quietly shines once again. In 2018, researchers at the Medical College of Georgia made a fascinating discovery. They found that a simple baking soda solution, taken regularly, appeared to flip a switch in the immune system. It signaled the body to calm its inflammatory response, especially in conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the joints. What that means in plain language is this: baking soda may help reduce inflammation at its root, not just mask the pain. Less inflammation means less swelling, less stiffness, and potentially more freedom in how you move throughout the day. Some people drink a small glass of water with about half a teaspoon of baking soda once a day, usually on an empty stomach, And while the science is still unfolding, those who've tried it often report feeling more mobile, more flexible, and more comfortable doing the little things: tying shoes, opening jars, walking across the room without wincing. Of course, this isn't a miracle cure, but when paired with other healthy habits, stretching, gentle movement, an anti-inflammatory diet, baking soda can become part of a simple, supportive routine, one that respects your body and works with it, not against it. And when your joints start to loosen up and your steps get easier, you may also notice it's easier to bounce back when you catch a cold or flu. Let's look at how baking soda can help there too. You know that moment when you wake up with a scratchy throat, a heavy head, and that slow drip in the back of your nose? You tell yourself it's just a little cold, but a few hours later, you're wrapped in a blanket, coughing, sniffling, and counting the hours till it passes. At our age, a cold isn't just an inconvenience, it can knock you off your feet for days. And while over-the-counter meds might help, they often leave you feeling drowsy, jittery, or dried out. That's why so many people are turning back to simple home remedies, and baking soda is one of the best-kept secrets in that category. Baking soda can help thin mucus, making it easier to breathe. Gargling a mild solution, about half a teaspoon in warm water, can soothe that raw, irritated throat and help reduce the bacteria living back there. A study published in Oral Diseases even showed that sodium bicarbonate rinses significantly reduced microbial activity in the throat and mouth, a big plus when your immune system is already working overtime. And for stuffy noses, some folks add a pinch of baking soda to a saline rinse. It can help break down thick mucus and flush out irritants, giving your sinuses some much-needed relief. Plus, it's gentle enough for daily use when cold symptoms hang on longer than they should. The best part? There are no drowsy side effects, no sugar crashes, no harsh chemicals, just a natural, supportive nudge to help your body recover and breathe easier. And while we're on the topic of supporting your body's defense system, there's one more area researchers are starting to explore, and it might surprise you. Let's talk about the connection between baking soda and one of the biggest health battles of our time: cancer. Cancer is a heavy word, and for many of us, it's more than just a diagnosis. It's personal. Maybe it's something you've faced, or maybe someone close to you is going through it right now. The journey is hard, and the treatments can be even harder. So when something as simple as baking soda shows even a small spark of hope in this fight, people pay attention. Let's be clear, baking soda is not a cure. But what researchers have discovered is that it might help create an internal environment that makes cancer treatments work more effectively. You see, cancer cells tend to thrive in acidic surroundings. That acidity can even reduce the power of chemotherapy drugs. But baking soda, because it's alkaline, may help neutralize some of that internal acidity, and that might make it easier for certain treatments to do their job. In one 2009 study from the Cancer Research Journal, scientists found that when mice with cancer were given baking soda, the acidity around their tumors decreased. As a result, the spread of the cancer slowed, and the effects of chemotherapy were enhanced. Now, this research is still in its early stages, and it's being done carefully under strict medical conditions. But it's promising. Of course, this is something that must always be done with your doctor's supervision. Cancer is complex. Every case is different. But what this shows us is that something as humble as baking soda, when understood and used correctly, might play a small supporting role in a much bigger plan. It's a reminder that even in the toughest battles, nature sometimes hands us quiet allies. And speaking of quiet helpers, let's shift to something far more down-to-earth, but incredibly useful, especially if you want to ditch harsh chemicals. Let's talk about body odor, and how baking soda might help with that too. We don't talk about it much, but let's be honest, nobody likes body odor. And as we get older, our skin changes, our sweat changes, and sometimes even the deodorants we've used for years just don't seem to work the same anymore. Worse yet, some of those store-bought sticks are packed with harsh chemicals, artificial fragrances, and ingredients we can't even pronounce. That's why baking soda has become such a quiet favorite for so many seniors. It's not just cheap and accessible, it works. Baking soda helps absorb moisture and neutralize the acids in sweat that lead to odor. That's what makes it such a great natural deodorant. It doesn't just cover up smells, it helps prevent them in the first place. A study published in Cutis Journal found that sodium bicarbonate is effective at reducing underarm odor by targeting the bacteria that cause it, without the need for added fragrance or alcohol. For people with sensitive skin, it can be a gentle, safer alternative to commercial products that often cause rashes or irritation. Some people sprinkle a tiny pinch under their arms straight after showering. Others mix it with a bit of coconut oil or cornstarch to make a simple paste. It's soft, it's scentless, and it keeps you feeling fresh without overwhelming your skin or your senses. And here's the best part: no aluminum, no sticky residue, and no mystery ingredients. Just one more way baking soda quietly supports your daily comfort. But comfort doesn't stop at the surface. Sometimes it's the pain deep in your joints that really needs attention, especially for anyone living with gout. And that's exactly what we'll look at next. If you've ever been jolted awake by a sharp, stabbing pain in your big toe, the kind that makes even the weight of a bedsheet unbearable, then you know exactly how cruel gout can be. It's not just a flare-up. It feels like your joints are being set on fire from the inside out. And for many seniors, these attacks come out of nowhere and keep coming back. At its core, gout is caused by too much uric acid in the body. When that acid builds up, it forms sharp crystals in the joints, especially the feet. But here's where baking soda may be helpful. Because of its alkalizing effect, it might help neutralize some of that uric acid, making it easier for your body to flush it out before it settles into your joints. A study published in the Clinical Rheumatology Journal highlighted that alkaline therapy, including the use of sodium bicarbonate, helped increase uric acid excretion in the urine, reducing the overall burden on the joints. That means fewer crystals, less inflammation, and possibly fewer painful flares. Some people dissolve half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water once or twice a day during a gout flare. But again, this should always be done with care, and ideally under medical supervision. Because while it can help in mild or early stages, it's not a replacement for proper gout medication if your doctor recommends it. Still, many have found that baking soda offers a bit of relief during those rough patches, helping to ease stiffness, calm inflammation, and give the joints a little breathing room to recover. And now that we've explored all 13 ways this humble powder can support your health, it's time to wrap things up with something just as powerful: hope, motivation, and a gentle reminder that even small changes can mean a better life. You know, it's easy to feel like your options shrink as you get older, that feeling of, this is just how it is now. But it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes the answer isn't in a fancy bottle or a high-priced treatment. Sometimes it's in the simplest things we've overlooked for years, like that little orange box sitting quietly in the back of your kitchen shelf. Baking soda isn't magic, but when used wisely, it can gently support your body in more ways than most of us ever realized, from soothing your stomach to calming your joints, from cleaning your teeth to easing your breath. It's one of those humble helpers that's always been there, and now it's yours to use with purpose. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Just start with one small thing, one new habit, one gentle rinse, 1 glass of water with intention. Do it consistently. Do it kindly. And you might just start feeling a little better, moving a little easier, and waking up with more clarity than yesterday. Your health after 60 isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring the life you've lived and giving your body the small, loving support it needs to keep going strong. If you found even one helpful tip in today's video, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, where are you watching from, and which benefit surprised you the most? And of course, don't forget to tap that like button, share this video with someone you care about, and subscribe to Health 365. There's so much more to explore together, and your journey toward better health is just getting started. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.